Okay, so I have a question for anyone who has ever dealt with the foster care system. My ex-wife and I, during our marriage, twins were born, right? Okay, I am on their birth certificate as their second parent. They have my last name. And as of June of this year, there was an investigation opened against her and her husband. Social services never contacted me. They moved the children from her home to her mother's home. Still, no one contacted me. They then moved them from her home to the grandmother's home. Still no contact with me. So forth and so on. This went on through September. No one from social service ever contacted me. Not once. No one. Not the foster care worker, not the social care worker, or social care, not the social services person, whatever, social worker. No one contacted me, not one phone call. And then in September, my children got placed into a foster home. Still, no one reached out to me whatsoever. They just turned them over to state's custody and put them in a foster home. And then, only then, did they give me the courtesy of a phone call to tell me I could come to tell me I could come to court if I wanted to get my kids. That was 3 days before court. Excuse me. So I went to court, fully expecting to take my children home because they didn't belong in foster care, as they had a home. They have parents. They have family. They have plenty of people who want them. And in the state of Virginia, there are no grandparent rights. So how is it that a grandparent can turn the children into foster care and custody be transferred to the state without anyone ever contacting me or noticing me for anything? So my current wife and I, we've been going through the steps that we need to get custody of the twins. Excuse me again. But they are treating me very much like I am just some random relative or even some random stranger who want custody of these kids. Last time I checked, when there is a willing and able and stable parent available to take custody of a child in a situation like this, that is where the child then goes. But that's not been the case. There have been 2 court hearings since then, and still the kids aren't here. Get to visit them once a week, get an hour once a week with them, and still the kids aren't here. Had to request our own home study. Had to request it. It wasn't ordered by the court. We requested it at court, and only then was it ordered. In October, we were informed that we had to do a parental assessment and that they would schedule it and we would receive a phone call. Okay, we waited. No phone call. Court in November, still no parental assessment. And then a week and a half ago, I talked to the social worker who tells me maybe it's a good idea if I call them. And now the parental assessment has been set up for the end of March. But court's in February. Yeah, the next court date, February. So when we go in February, it'll be another formality of them telling me how confusing and complex this case is. And that's why the kids remain in foster care, even though we have a home, job, way to provide, a vehicle, the whole nine. They have a bedroom all set up and ready to go for them with a full wardrobe of clothes. Everything they could possibly need or want is here for them waiting. And we have just played by every rule that we are told we need to play by. We've reached out and contacted several attorneys, and apparently where this is the first case ever like this in this county, no one has a clue what's going on. That's their excuse in court is we don't know, we're confused. So now it's the sit and wait game. But finally an attorney did contact me back, and she is supposed to be a very good attorney who has dealt with stuff like this. When your attorney tells you, I'm in the dark, you might want to reach out to an advocate or someone who can help advise me in this situation. That's never a good situation. It's never a good feeling to have, that your attorney is less informed than you are in a situation when it comes to anything, especially to do with your children. It would have taken one phone call to keep these kids out of the system. One phone call. one phone call that was never made. So hopefully when I talk to that attorney again, she will be our saving grace and be able to get those boys with their family, with their parent, because I am their mother. I don't care if I birthed them or not. I am their mom. Law says I'm their mother, and my heart says I'm their mother. The fact that I was their primary caretaker for the first year and a half of their life says I'm their mother. And I can't understand why they're not home yet. In every other situation I've ever read up and seen about this, as soon as the second parent steps forward, the court is completely and without hesitation automatically turning over the children to that parent, but not me. And I can't help but to think, is it because I'm a female? Is it because I'm a female who didn't actually birth these children? But it's time that the courts read up and do research and start catching up with the fact that the laws have changed. And by law in this state, I am their parent. And I have stepped forward, and I have been willing to take them since day one, since that first phone call. But it was kept a big secret for me that any of this was going on until they were put in state custody. So I ask you, the public, anyone who has dealt with anything similar to this, whose children have been taken at no fault of their own, tell me what happened to you, if you care to. I'm not trying to be nosy, I'm just trying to be informed, because I want to know everything I can. The next time I step foot in that courtroom, I will be heard, because there's no sense in those children having been in a foster home since September, when they have had a parent there the whole time begging to take those babies home. So what do you guys think? What do you think I should do? What do you think is the problem? What have you been through personally? Anything. I'd love to know. So just let me know, because all I want to do is bring my babies home.